You were not born for comfort. That voice inside you, the one that whispers at midnight, the one that tightens your chest when you hesitate, it's not asking you to play it safe. It's begging you to wake up. Because deep down, you already know the truth. Comfort is the silent killer of greatness, not failure, not rejection, not even fear. It's the warm bed when you should be rising. It's the scrolling thumb when you should be studying. It's the easy yes when your destiny demands a hard no. Comfort is seductive. It speaks in soft tones and small lies. You've done enough. You deserve a break. There's still time. And before you know it, years pass, potential rots. And the fire you once had becomes smoke in someone else's story. I want you to understand this. Greatness is not denied. It is delayed by indulgence. Think of every empire builder history remembers. Carnegie didn't rise from poverty by sleeping in. Ford didn't change the world by staying in the middle. Edison didn't give us light by waiting for inspiration. These men bled for what they believed. They endured discomfort so intense, most people today would crumble under the pressure. They understood a law, an unbreakable law. The future belongs to the disciplined. The throne is reserved for the uncomfortable. So I ask you, what are you tolerating? What comforts have you allowed to become habits? Because the habits you entertain now are carving the future you'll wake up to, and don't lie to yourself. You already know which comforts are stealing your time. You know which addictions are poisoning your potential. You feel the tension between who you are and who you're supposed to become. This isn't about working harder. It's about living deliberately. Every time you choose ease over effort, distraction over discipline, pleasure over progress, you delay the version of you that was born to change the game. Every time you hit snooze, you silence your future self. Every time you run from pain, you abandon purpose. The life you want doesn't come with a comfort guarantee. It comes with scars, with rejection, with lonely nights and hard choices and days where nothing seems to work. Until one day, it does, but not for the comfortable, for the committed. Look around. The world is filled with brilliant people who never built anything, with dreamers who never started, with visionaries who had the fire, but fed it junk food. They waited for perfect conditions. They waited to feel ready. They waited for motivation. But here's the truth. Comfort is a liar that speaks in delay. Your greatness doesn't need more comfort. It needs more clarity. So let's get clear. You're not tired. You're undisciplined. You're not lost. You're unfocused. You're not behind. You're uncommitted. And once you stop blaming the world for what you tolerate in yourself, you take back the one thing comfort can never offer: ownership. Now, breathe. Sit with that. Let it burn, not to hurt, but to purify. Because on the other side of comfort is your power. And to get there, you'll have to walk straight through everything you've avoided. Let's be honest. There are goals you set but haven't chased. Books you bought but never read. Ideas you birthed but never raised. Not because you're incapable, but because you're addicted to being comfortable enough. But comfortable enough never built an empire. Comfortable enough never wrote a masterpiece. Comfortable enough never turned dreams into legacy. The mind that seeks comfort will always shrink from discomfort. And yet discomfort is the forge, the fire, the altar upon which average is sacrificed and greatness is born. I dare you to get uncomfortable. Wake up an hour earlier. Say no to what drains you. Stop numbing your spirit with mindless consumption. Replace every comfort ritual with a growth ritual. You say you want transformation? Then kill the myth that you'll get there without sweat. Let's kill another lie. That motivation is the key. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the firewood, and only discipline keeps the fire burning on cold mornings and lonely nights. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It shows up even when you don't want to. Comfort says, just this once. Discipline says, not today. Comfort says, later. Discipline says, now. You choose, every day, every moment. And if you don't choose discipline, comfort will choose for you. And it always chooses small. Small dreams, small action, small results. But you weren't born for small. You were born to build something real. To take the tools of thought, belief, and intention and sculpt a life that means something. You were born to leave fingerprints in history. But you cannot leave fingerprints if you're still clinging to the blanket of ease. Do you know what they won't tell you in school? That the greatest enemy of your destiny is not failure. It's comfort with mediocrity. People don't lose because they aim high and miss. They lose because they aim low and hit. They choose what's familiar over what's freeing. They choose what's popular over what's powerful. They choose applause over impact, but that's not why you're here. You didn't come this far to quit halfway. You didn't suffer just to stay the same. You didn't survive your past just to die in your comfort zone. You came here to rise, to evolve, to break the chains of what once held you back and walk forward like a storm, unapologetic and unwavering. So let me ask you something real. How long will you wait to become who you were meant to be? How many more days will you spend feeding the lie that tomorrow you'll start? That someday you'll commit? There is no someday. There is only now. And now that you know there's only now, the illusion begins to break because the comfort you've wrapped yourself in. It was never warmth. It was numbness. The longer you stay in comfort, the colder your soul becomes. Not immediately, not loudly, but slowly, quietly. It fades until one day you wake up and you don't recognize the person staring back in the mirror. Not because you failed, but because you settled. Settled for almost. Settled for someday. Settled for soft lies and muted dreams. You didn't come here to settle. You came here to command. Command your focus. Command your habits. Command your time, your choices, your outcomes. That is the essence of personal power. Not fame, not fortune, not applause, but ownership. And ownership is painful because it strips away every excuse. No more "I didn't have time." No more "I'm not lucky." No more "it's just not for me." Because once you own your thoughts, your actions, and your attitude, you realize something terrifying and liberating. Your future is yours, entirely. No one is coming to push you. No one is coming to wake you up. No one is coming to hand you the life you crave. You either build it through discomfort, or you fantasize about it in regret. And regret is the sharpest pain of all, not because of what happened, but because of what could have. Regret is comfort's final invoice, and the price is your potential. But here's the twist. Comfort doesn't feel like pain in the moment. It feels like pleasure. It feels like safety. It feels like freedom. Until you realize you're in a prison with velvet walls. They gave you just enough to keep you from fighting. Just enough to keep you from building. Just enough to keep you from becoming. But deep in your gut, the truth aches. You were made for more. So I ask you, what will you do now? You've been given the blueprint. You've heard the call. And once you've heard it, you can't unhear it. You can't unsee the gap between your current self and your higher self. And the only bridge across that gap is discipline, forged in the furnace of discomfort. Think of the legends, not when they triumphed, but when they bled. Lincoln, crushed by defeat after defeat before he ever saw the presidency. Oprah, fired, ridiculed, underestimated. Disney, rejected over and over. He lacked imagination. Hill himself, mocked, broke. Told his philosophy would never work, and yet they moved, they acted. They pushed through the wall of resistance and rewrote their stories, because they refused to worship comfort. The world remembers them not because they were fearless, but because they were relentless, and relentlessness is born when comfort is killed. You want to know the formula? Burn the bridge back to your excuses. Refuse to negotiate with weakness. Starve your distractions. Feed your vision like it's oxygen, because it is. Build rituals that hurt at first, but reward forever. Replace "I can't" with "I will." Replace "someday" with "today." Replace "I'm not ready" with "I'm ready enough." Stop idolizing perfection. Start executing in progress. Every day you act in discomfort, you vote for your future self. Every time you do the thing you don't feel like doing, you grow the muscle of greatness. That's the real gym. That's the secret room where champions are built. Not when the lights are on, not when it's convenient, but when no one sees you, when no one applauds, when it's just you, your shadow, and the choice to either rise or retreat. And if you choose to rise, again and again and again, you begin to realize something powerful. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's your evidence. It's proof that you're evolving, that your nervous system is rewiring, that your mind is expanding, that your soul is shaking off the dust of average and reaching for the heights it was meant to breathe. So don't run from it, run into it. Let it purify your purpose. Let it carve away the false parts of you. Let it test you, forge you, break you open until all that's left is truth. Because when the truth is all that remains, comfort loses its grip and power returns to its rightful owner, you. And when power returns to you, everything changes. You stop waiting. You stop wishing. You stop whispering your dreams under your breath like they need permission to live. Instead, you declare them with your posture, with your schedule, with your habits, with your choices. That's what greatness looks like. It's not loud, it's consistent. You want to build a life that commands respect? Then you must become the kind of person who respects their own time, their own potential, their own word. You say, "You're tired?" Good. That means you're pushing. You feel lost? Good. That means you're searching beyond where you've been. You feel uncomfortable? Good. That means you're exactly where the magic begins, because the growth you crave does not live in the life. It lives just outside your comfort zone, at the edge of your fear, the boundary of your excuses, the border of your former self. And the only passport to that new world is pain you've been avoiding. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the initiator, the teacher, the sharpening blade. Think of it. Every strong man you admire, every woman who stands with power, every titan of industry, art, or leadership, they all learned the same thing. Pain reveals purpose. When it hits you hard and you don't retreat. When it burns and you don't break. When it whispers, "Quit," and you answer with, "Try me." That's when identity is born, not crafted in theory, but proven in fire. So don't resent the discomfort, reframe it. See it for what it is. The proving ground for the next version of you. It's not here to destroy you. It's here to reveal what's been buried inside you the whole time. But buried treasure doesn't reveal itself to the lazy, to the distracted, to the convenient. It reveals itself to those who dig every single day, who pick up the shovel of action and strike the earth of resistance until the gold of potential glows. Because if you're not willing to dig, then stop saying you're hungry. If you're not willing to stretch, then stop saying you're ready. And if you're not willing to hurt, then stop saying you're serious. Because comfort is not neutral. It is a choice. And every time you choose it, you vote for stagnation. But when you reject it, you open the gates to something greater. Power under pressure. That's the game. The people you admire don't have fewer problems than you. They've trained themselves to stay calm in the problem, to keep moving while others freeze, to stay focused while others panic, to execute while others retreat. They've made discomfort their ally, their home. That's what champions do. They don't need the world to be easy. They need it to be challenging, because it wakes up the greatness inside them. So if life is hitting you right now, good. If the path feels steep, perfect. If your legs shake and your doubts scream, excellent. That means you're alive. That means you're growing. That means comfort is dying, and your future is being forged. And when you rise through that, you earn the one thing no money, no title, no shortcut can ever buy. Self-respect. That sacred inner knowing that says, I kept my word. I faced the fire. I did not run. It's not about applause. It's not about social media. It's not about followers or fame. It's about knowing, deep in your bones, that you showed up for your future, even when it hurt. Because every time you win that private battle with comfort, every time you trade what's easy for what's right, every time you sacrifice your mood for your mission, you become the kind of person who cannot be denied. That's how dreams turn into reality. Not through luck, not through chance, through repetition under resistance. And that repetition becomes momentum, and that momentum becomes identity, and that identity becomes destiny. So here's the question. Are you willing to be uncomfortable for the next 100 days, to become unstoppable for the next 100 years? Are you willing to feel awkward, clumsy, exhausted, even foolish for a season, so you can feel unshakable for a lifetime? Because if you choose discomfort on purpose, then your future will begin to bend toward you. The world rearranges itself for the one who refuses to settle. That's not a theory. That's not a wish. That's a law. The universe moves with a man or woman who moves first, without comfort, without applause, without guarantees. Just faith, just fire, just forward motion. And when you move forward, when you act in faith without the safety net of comfort, you begin to access a force inside you that comfort has always kept asleep. Conviction. Not just belief, not just hope, but conviction. That unshakable internal certainty that says, this is who I am now. This is what I do. This is the standard I live by, and that standard changes everything. It changes how you speak, how you show up, how you respond to setbacks, to delays, to disrespect, to distraction. Because when you live by conviction, your life stops bending to your feelings and starts bending to your principles. Comfort will always argue for your feelings. Conviction will always answer for your future. Comfort wants your now. Conviction wants your next. So what's driving you? Convenience or commitment? Be honest, because if you're driven by convenience, you'll quit when it gets hard. You'll ghost your goals. You'll compromise your values. You'll make excuses that sound smart but feel hollow. But if you're driven by commitment, you won't need perfect conditions. You won't wait for motivation. You'll act because it's who you are, not just how you feel. That's what Napoleon Hill meant when he wrote about definiteness of purpose. A burning desire so fierce that nothing, not ridicule, not fear, not fatigue, can pull you off course. So, if you're tired of quitting, tired of drifting, tired of doubting yourself the moment it hurts, then you must decide. And I don't mean wish. I don't mean dabble. I don't mean flirt with the idea of success. I mean decide. Burn the ships. No turning back. Burn through every obstacle. Decide that from this moment forward, you will no longer negotiate with weakness. You will no longer outsource your power. You will no longer let comfort make your decisions. Because comfort does not care about your calling. It cares about keeping you small. And you were not built for small. You were built for impact, for excellence, for legacy. But that version of you will not emerge through coddling. It will not emerge through scrolling. It will not emerge through waiting. It will emerge through fire, through discomfort, through early mornings and late nights, through saying no to distractions and yes to discipline, through standing alone when others laugh, through silence, through struggle, through stretching yourself past what you thought was possible. And then one day, you'll wake up different, not because your circumstances changed, but because you did. You'll carry yourself differently, speak differently, think differently. Because your identity has been rebuilt, not on what feels good, but on what makes you great. And people will notice. They'll say you've changed. They'll ask what happened. They'll wonder what clicked, and you'll just smile because you'll know. You stopped letting comfort decide. You stopped playing defense. You stopped waiting to be ready, and you acted like you already were. And in doing so, you became unstoppable. That's how it works. One decision, one discomfort, one discipline at a time. You don't need more inspiration. You need more execution. You don't need more time. You need more focus. You don't need more validation. You need more self-respect. The world does not reward the most gifted. It rewards the most committed. So, the question is not, are you capable? The question is, are you consistent? Because when you master consistency, especially under discomfort, you break through every ceiling that life and fear tried to place above you. You ascend, you rise, and nothing is more dangerous to mediocrity than a man or woman who has learned to thrive in discomfort. They can't be manipulated, they can't be bought, they can't be broken, because they've already faced the hard road and chosen it anyway. That is who you're becoming now, not by accident, not by inspiration alone, but by repetition in resistance. And that version of you, the one who keeps going when no one claps, the one who shows up with no camera, no likes, no applause, that's the version of you who earns the life most will only dream about. And when you earn that life, not win it, not stumble into it, but earn it, something inside you shifts forever. Because you'll realize it was never about the goal. It was about who you had to become to reach it. The money, the titles, the success, they're echoes, reflections, proof that you transformed. The real reward, mastery of your mind, of your emotions, of your time, your patterns, your thoughts, your decisions. That kind of mastery doesn't happen on a beach. It doesn't come from good vibes and vision boards alone. It comes from war. A war you fight within. A war against your lower self. A war against every excuse comfort throws your way. And yes, it's hard. But you weren't built for easy. You were built to endure, to evolve, to elevate. Think of it like this. Inside you right now, there are two identities. One wants to stay in bed, stay small, stay safe. The other wants to dominate, create, expand, and live with no regrets. Comfort feeds the first. Discipline awakens the second. Every choice you make is a vote. Every action is a declaration of identity. You say, I'm just not motivated. But it's not motivation you're lacking, it's alignment. Because once your vision is crystal clear, once your purpose is dialed in so deep it feels like oxygen, you won't need motivation to move. You'll burn to move. The problem is, most people never get clear. They chase vague ideas. I want success. I want happiness. But clarity is the magnet that pulls you through discomfort. Without it, comfort becomes the default. But with it, you'll walk through fire with a smile. You'll hear rejection and keep speaking. You'll take the punch and throw purpose back. So, if you haven't found that clarity yet, go get it. Not tomorrow. Not when it's convenient. Now ask yourself, what am I building? Who am I becoming? What will I no longer tolerate? What am I willing to suffer for? Because that's where clarity is born. Not in comfort, but in commitment. And once you're clear, your actions get clean. No more wasting time, no more living distracted, no more dimming your light just to fit in with people who are afraid to shine. This is your life, your story, and it's being written in real time by every decision you make. So what will you do? Will you stay curled up in comfort while your destiny rusts? Or will you rise, bloody and tired and burning with fire, and go get what's yours? Because make no mistake, this world doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you demand. And you can't demand anything if you're still negotiating with comfort. You want people to take you seriously? Then you have to take you seriously. No more half efforts, no more waiting until it feels good. No more letting your emotions decide the quality of your actions. You're not ruled by how you feel, you're ruled by what you believe. And belief, backed by discipline, is the most dangerous force in the universe. It creates, it destroys, it moves mountains, changes destinies, and breaks generational curses. And it all begins the moment you say, I will not let comfort kill me. Not my vision, not my time, not my impact, not my potential. I will fight for my future, even if it means sacrificing my present comfort. Because one day all that comfort I chased will turn to dust. But discipline will outlive you. Discipline becomes legacy. So build your legacy now, not later, not when it's easier, not when you feel like it. Build it today, in silence, in sweat, in repetition. Let others scroll, let others coast, let others laugh. You, rise, because one day they'll ask how you did it, and you'll smile. Not because it was easy, but because you refused to be destroyed by comfort. And now we reach the final threshold, not the end of the speech, the beginning of your real life. Because after all the words, all the fire, all the truth, it still comes down to you. You, alone in your room. You, facing your old habits. You, staring down that soft voice begging you to take it easy. It's just a moment, but it defines everything. Will you rise? Will you follow through? Because if you don't, if you let comfort win this time, then what was the point of hearing this at all? You came this far for a reason. You listened this long because something in you is already waking up, and now it's time to choose. Will you abandon the false peace of comfort for the true power of growth? Will you walk through resistance, not because it's easy, but because it's who you are now? If you do, then your life will never be the same. You'll start to feel it in your bones, in how you walk into rooms, in how you speak, with conviction, in how you no longer entertain small talk. Small plans or small minds. You'll outgrow people. You'll outgrow places. You'll even outgrow the old version of yourself. The one who thought discipline was pain, not freedom. Because let me tell you what real freedom is. Freedom is doing what you said you'd do, even when no one's watching. Freedom is looking in the mirror and being proud. Freedom is building a life that doesn't need escaping from. And yes, it will cost you. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you distractions. It will cost you weekends, late nights, early mornings, cheap dopamine, and easy excuses. But what you get in return? You get you, the real you, the version of you that doesn't just talk about greatness, but lives it. You get peace. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. You get clarity. Not because you found the answers, but because you finally asked the right questions. You get power. Not because someone gave it to you, but because you earned it, forged it, bled for it. So let the world keep chasing comfort. Let them stay glued to distractions. Let them keep waiting for a sign. You already know what needs to be done. You've known for a long time. Now it's time to do it. And when it hurts, good. When it burns, perfect. When it pushes you to your edge, keep going. That's where you grow. That's where you shed the lies. That's where comfort dies and your future begins. So the next time your alarm goes off, next time you don't feel like showing up, the next time you want to negotiate with weakness, remember this. Discomfort is temporary, regret is forever. Discipline is your bridge, and freedom is waiting on the other side. So take the step, burn the comfort, build the future. And when they ask how you did it, tell them the truth. I stopped letting comfort decide who I would become, and I finally became me.